Virginia was front and center in electing President Obama in 2008. The first event that the president did after the primaries were over was in Bristol, Virginia. The last event he did before Election Day was standing with 90,000 of us in Bull Run, up in Manassas in Prince William County. The president remembers that. It's not an accident that as DNC chair I chose Charlotte as the convention city for the Democratic Party in 2012. The president liked the choice, and I'll tell you why. Because it sends a strong signal that we're going to continue to play aggressive politics on the other guy's turf. And we will continue our focus on reaching into the South, states that the other guys think they own. We're going to reach there, and just like we won Virginia and North Carolina in 2008, we're going to win them again in 2012. And so, all the campaign resources and the excitement and the energy that we remember that Obama HQ up on Marshall Street in the Carver neighborhood and coordinated offices with the Democratic Party all over the state. That's going to happen again. We've been working on the plan. I can tell you with a high degree of certainty you're going to see it again and more in 2012, and that's going to help us be victorious, but it's not just the resources. The real reason we're going to be victorious is because of the issues we stand for, and the way we'll contrast in 2012 who we are with who the other guys are. We're going to focus on the future, while the Republicans are focusing on the battles of the past, trying to repeal health care reform. Their label, they call it Obamacare. They think care is a bad word. I mean, isn't it interesting that if they had to pick something really negative, care. Caring is bad. Caring is wrong. Caring is something we have to repeal, we have to fight against. We're not going to let that happen. They're fighting battles of the past to repeal Wall Street reform and cut Social Security and Medicaid and gut environmental regulations. Just look at what Republicans are doing this week. In Washington this week, Republicans in the House waged a successful effort thus far. It will stop to try to deny women access to birth control. In the resolution they voted the other morning, they voted out any funding to Planned Parenthood for birth control in the federal budget. That's what they're doing at the national level. And at the state level in Wisconsin, and Brian mentioned this, governors and others in state houses across this country on the Republican side have decided what they want to do is wage a war against their own employees, against public employees who are teaching our kids, who are caring for our parents in nursing homes, who are patrolling our neighborhoods. That's who this party is. When I see them doing these things, I say, wait a minute, I thought you guys were about creating jobs. What does this have to do with any of that? Well, you know, there's a reason that Republicans like to fight the past battles instead of working to grow the economy, and the reason is this. Their history shows they don't know anything about economic growth or how to create jobs. Right? They don't know a darn thing about it. During the 8 years of the previous Republican administration, during that 8-year period, family median income went down. The gaps between rich and poor expanded. The national gross domestic product flipped from growing to shrinking. While the population in that period grew by 10%, the number of jobs in the nation grew by 1%. And here's a shocker, and use this one if anybody ever comes up to you and says that Democrats are not good for business, not good for the economy. If you put $1 into the stock market the day that George Bush was inaugurated, it was worth 78 cents when he walked out of office 8 years later. All right? So that's what these guys know about the economy. Let me tell you about Democrats. 2 years into a Democratic administration, gross domestic product is not shrinking, it's growing again. We've now gained private sector jobs for 12 months in a row. And $1 invested in the stock market on that beautiful clear day in Washington when Barack Obama was inaugurated is not worth 78 cents. And it's not worth $1, it's worth nearly $1.50 today. That's what Democratic leadership does for the state. Now, just as we've achieved huge gains in healthcare, stopping the war in Iraq, expanding student loans, appointing 2 wonderful women to the energy renaissance that can help us fight climate change. These are the battles that we're going to fight and win. The Democrats, with the optimistic, forward vision to outbuild, out-innovate, out-educate our competitors. The Republicans, with the effort to go back to the policies that put our nation into the deepest tailspin since the 1930s. When you talk about it that way, I like our chances. I like our chances in 2012, and I like our competitive spirit. Let me say one more word about 2012, if you'll just allow me to personally. I want to also acknowledge the incredible service that Jim Webb has provided as a senator. I've run 7 races and won 7 races, but I never felt that any of my races had the hand of destiny on them. I just had to scuffle my way to get over the finish line ahead of the other guy. And I've worked on an awful lot of races. I've only worked on 2 races in my life that I thought had the hand of destiny on them. And one was the election of President Obama as president in 2008. That just had to be. That just had to be. But the other one was Jim Webb's Senate victory. When Jim Webb got into the Senate race in 2006 with no money and no staff, standing there in the boots of his son, who was serving in Iraq, saying that the Senate had gone too far and was caving into President Bush and waging wars unnecessarily, and somebody needed to stand up in that Senate, even an unlikely candidate, even somebody who, most people would never have imagined running for office. When he stood up and declared that day, I just remember thinking, wow, I'm not sure this is going to happen, but if lightning could strike a person, lightning can strike Jim Webb. And what we did in that race was tremendous. And what Jim Webb has done as a senator has been tremendous. And I'm like you, I just got to say, I'm really sad that we're not going to have Jim Webb for another term. I do want to say that I thank everyone who has encouraged me to think about running in 2012. It's touching, it's gratifying to see so many people who understand that the race is important and who feel like I might be able to serve the Commonwealth in this capacity. And I'll tell you, it is flattering and it's kind, but it's a challenge too, because I have a job that I absolutely love right now. I get to travel this country on behalf of the President and the party, advocating for values I believe in, often going into some pretty tough territory where the President needs a friend. He and I were joking about it the other day. I said, you just don't have a lot of 50-year-old white Southern governors out subbing for you nonstop in English and Spanish. That's not your power demographic. And I love the ability to do that. I was completely focused on doing that all the way through 2012 because I want to make sure that we win that most important race in 8 years. But I do understand in the aftermath of Jim's announcement how important this seat is. So my wife Ann and I, everything we've done as a team. We're spending some time reflecting about it, and I'm going to make a decision soon about whether I can best serve the Commonwealth and the nation as chair of the party or as a Senate candidate. But whatever decision I make, I'm confident that the next senator from Virginia will be a Democrat. We will have a strong